So, is anyone else curious about the whole stem cell matter? I think my curiosity was got the best of me probably when a patient came in recently at the hospital and he had a rare form of cancer and he was only 50. However, the chemo and other drugs that he had to take to manage his health aged his body to the point where he looked so much more older than what he really was. His doctor had told him about an experimental drug treatment using his own stem cells. So I thought that this has to be illegal because I'd never heard of anything like this. However, it turns out some facilities in the US are utilizing stem cell treatment, but those facilities are still within a private sector. So a lot of the money it's privately funded. There's no federal funding whatsoever, and there might even be a chance of whatever is recorded as happening at the facility isn't necessarily what's being reported to the actually FDA. Therefore, the procedures are pricey and not fully supported by the government, which leads to my question, what is the legal status of stem cell therapy in the United States? So, stem cells are generalized cells with three special abilities, right? They renew themselves, they have the trait of being unspecialized, and they produce specialized cells. So not only can they repair and renew organs and tissue, but they are just generalized soldiers that can be placed anywhere and become anything that they're around, which opens up new medical doors for those with MS or brain injuries. These are located in the bone marrow, blood vessels, skeleton muscles, skin, liver, fat, teeth. When it's all part of our natural repairing system. However, as we get older, stem cells diminish, and that's where stem cell therapy comes. So there's three types of stem cell procedures, right? There's embryonic. An embryonic is very complicated because as it stands, embryonic is a cluster of cells that were donated by parents who or individuals who were in the process of in vitro or are no longer doing in vitro, and they donated their cells to science for research. Others have decided to disregard, and that's completely fine, but others wanted to donate theirs to science to help with research. So that's where it gets kind of tricky because they are literally embryonic cells that come from pre-implantation embryos and develop in culture dishes in labs. Adult stem cells or somatic stem cells are found throughout the body, and this is the one where a lot of people are really wanting to continue to use throughout the United States. You use your own stem cells located in various parts of your body, like your blood, your muscles, your liver, your fat, your blood vessels, your bones, and you utilize that to renew and differentiate cells so they can be major organ cells. So the primary goal of this is basically to repair and maintain your body from illness and stuff like that. Now, induced pluripotent stem cells are stem cells that can actually mimic embryonic but are not embryonic. These cells are from skin and blood, and they are induced or forced or coerced into be mimicking embryonic stem cells, which is kind of like a way to get around using embryonic stem cells. So this is another one that opens up a lot of doors because they can also become adult stem cells later on. So there's a lot of studies out there right now that currently show that stem cells can effectively treat heart disease, orthopedic issues, Parkinson's, MS, COPD, ALS, arthritis, lung disease. And so that's why a lot of individuals are seeking this type of therapy. Now, when did it first come about? I mean, was it something that just happened in the 1996 and we were like, woo, where did this come from? Or was it something before? Or according to history, the first initial bone marrow transplant is actually a form of stem cell therapy, and that was in the 1950s. So later in the 1974, Congress was like, okay, maybe we should start establishing some policies for stem cell procedures. Then as we move into 1996, federal funding was approved for stem cell research because, hey, you're going to run out of money trying to test all this, right? However, in that same year, Congress pulled and banned federal funding with the Dickey-Wicker Amendment. And that basically said that you're not allowed to create human embryos in a petri dish to use for medical research. So there was a lot of just uninformed and no information on this topic. So Congress and the medical boards went their separate ways. Then in 2000s, the National Health Institute said, okay, we're going to come up with new guidelines for the pluripotent stem cells. So this way, we're not using embryonic cells. We're actually just doing research on cells from skin and blood that we can manipulate to be embryonic cells. So President Bush in 2001 was like, nah, I'm not going to give you funding for that. So most of the human embryonic stem cell research was not funded at all, unless it was, again, from an outside benefactor. However, adult stem cells were not affected by this change. But in 2005, Congress is like, how about we come up with a Stem Cell Research and Enhancement Act? Bush was like, no, I don't think so. So it was vetoed again. So 2007 comes along. House and Senate both like this new bill that was an improved version of the Stem Cell Research Act, Enhancement Act. But Bush was like, no, I'm using my veto again, and it didn't happen. So in 2009, Obama said, okay, how about we just make better regulations on this, but we just open up the barriers and allow research to happen. And so from 2009 to 2016, that's what's been happening. However, the FDA was a tad bit tricky. So currently we have the battle of jurisdiction. The FDA decided that in the passing of the Act, the 21st Century Cure Act, to become a law, we're going to manipulate the wording a bit. And in manipulating the wording, the FDA altered their position on stem cell research and technology. In fact, they took control of it. And now they infringe their supervision over the practice of medicine, which has never happened before. The Federation of State Medical Boards are the ones who are backing and fighting for an autologous adult stem cell therapy. It falls under the practice of medicine, and it is between a physician and one patient. It doesn't harm the public in any way, and it doesn't pertain to interstate distribution. So that's why the FDA, in their eyes, should not be a part of the stem cell research genre, medicine, anything like that. However, FDA is like, hey, you actually break that down. You break stem cells down and you alter them to become something else, and then you later inject them via IV. So technically, it's a drug. And then the Federal Medical Board is like, no, actually, it's no different than in vitro. So they're going back and forth, and in that results the problem of people going to medical tourism. So medical tourism is literally where you visit or go to other countries or other nations to receive medical care that maybe is not allotted in the country from where you're from. In doing this, their There's been lots of money that it's going to other countries, which is a big issue. Also, the recovery time is not manageable because you're flying back and forth to another country. So that is the major issue right now with stem cell research. In fact, there's 13 countries that offer medical research: Argentina, Bahamas, Brazil, Cayman Islands, China, Ecuador, Peru, Israel, France, Korea, Mexico, Panama, Spain. They all offer this. And they are moving forward in the medical industry for stem cell research. However, the United States is falling behind and continues to fall even further back. Stem cell research opens up a door of taking something like heart disease, which takes on average $502 billion to treat and manage yearly, to $25,000 with the use of stem cell research. A lot of people feel that the reason why the FDA is so hesitant or reluctant to actually move forward with research is because they are supporting private sectors like the pharmaceutical companies, like private institutions and private colleges who have patents currently out involving stem cell research. Whatever the case may be, it's really unfortunate that we are such a progressive country, but in this term, in medical health, the communication and the actual progression of research like stem cell therapy is always behind. Thank you, and I hope you learned a bit from stem cell research. I hope your curiosity was, fulfilled. Have a great day. Thanks.